Hey guys, Super Rugby Pacific Round 2 is now complete, and with that, the fantasy points are in. In this video, I will just be recapping the results of fantasy, just keeping myself honest with any claims or picks I made before the round, and just seeing if there's anything we can learn from this round that we can take going forward to help us in the fantasy competition. First up, we had the Hurricanes giving Moana an absolute thrashing, 52-10. I thought this would be a good game for points. There was a little bit of uncertainty just being the Hurricanes' first match. I thought potentially they could be a little bit sloppy, and they kind of were, but it really didn't matter. The Moana Pacifica could not handle the heat. They couldn't handle the rush defense from the Hurricanes. They couldn't handle the Hurricanes moving the ball. And yeah, the Hurricanes just tore them to shreds, and kind of disappointing for Moana after that big win over the Drua last week. But yeah, I mean, the Drua kind of a weak team that didn't count for much apparently. Moana did name a bit of a B team this week, but I still think we have to really consider the fact that Moana could well just be another easy beat this year. And that's important to keep in mind, because this sort of matchup where one team just sort of steamrolls another team, this is kind of the ideal matchup that we look for in fantasy, right? We want to pick players out of the team that's doing the steamrolling. And yeah, like you can see down here, if we look at the top scoring players for the round, it has a very yellow look to it all the way around. Finianganofo, Callum Harkin, over 100 points each. Brady Yose on 86 from the back row. So yeah, keep that in mind going forward. Moana Pacifica, if they continue to look this weak, then yeah, you're gonna be wanting to look at who they're playing in the round and maybe drawing players out of their opponent. After that, we had the Waratahs taking down the Drua 36-13 in Sydney. Again, this was a bit of a hiding, but honestly, the Waratahs, they should have put 50 plus on the Enduro as well. If you saw the game, the Waratahs, they had so much ball. They're getting a penalty basically every single scrum, but they just bungled so many opportunities. The Waratahs, their 10, Lawson Crichton, like he was really struggling to get the ball through his hands, and it cost the Waratahs a lot of points, and yeah, really kind of affected the fantasy results, as we will see later. But yeah, again, this is a result I kind of expected, but I also expected Waratahs players to be scoring more points as well. They did leave some on the table, so that is another thing to keep in mind as well. Just because we've got a bit of a lopsided matchup here, you know, if the team that's got an opportunity to score a lot of points isn't actually, you know, that effective, then yeah, they may not still be that great to draw your players from. And again, with the drawer like Moana, we have to seriously consider now that yeah, they might just be another easy beat team this year. Like they kind of were last year by the time we got to the end of the season, even though they pulled off a few upsets in the first half of the season. And you know, we know that they're strong at home, but after last week, yeah, I don't know if they'll even be that strong at home in Fiji anymore either. So yeah, we have to wait and see, but I'm thinking that's the trend that we're seeing here. Then after that, on the Saturday, we had Highlanders versus the Chiefs, 23-26. I thought this game potentially could be an arm wrestle, and it kind of was, but it was still played in quite an open sort of fashion, right? So even though not a lot of points scored here, some of the players in this matchup did do pretty well, including some of the backs, right? Like, I don't mind picking forwards in an arm wrestle, but it's usually the backs that suffer. But some of them, you know, especially the big name ones, did do pretty well. So definitely wasn't the worst matchup to pick into, but yeah, it turned out to be pretty good in the end. And then Western Force versus the Blues, pretty high scoring game, 32-42. The Blues eventually winning in the end, and even though there was a lot of points scored in this game, it wasn't necessarily amazing for fantasy. I thought that the Blues, I thought they might sort of break the force down early, just sort of muscle over them close to the line with their forwards, sort of rack up some points and get the force chasing the game, and then the Blues would sort of be able to run over them late with their back, sort of like the Brumbies did in round one. That almost happened. I don't know if you sort of saw the game, like the Blues, they were able to, you know, dominate the force with their forwards close to the line and yeah, score those forwards tries. But just the way the games played out, the Blues were a little bit messy in many regards. You know, they'd score a try, but then they'd, you know, either give away penalties or they'd just give up a turnover, lose the ball, kick error, and that would just bring the force back into the game. And credit to the force, they would you know, they would come back right with a try. They just stayed in touch through the whole game until right at the end. And yeah, the Blues, they were never really able to completely tear them apart. One thing that was interesting with this game though, like last year I talked the Blues down a lot, and I really didn't like picking their players, especially their backs, and I usually did end up picking them at some points anyway, just because of the matchups. But this year, interestingly, it does seem like they're trying to spread the ball a bit more in these first two rounds. They are trying to use their backs a bit more, which is something to take note of. It's something that they weren't really doing a lot for the last couple of years. That said, whenever they tried to spread the ball, it was a bit messy, right? They'd cough it up, they'd turn it over. So it's something to keep an eye on as the season goes on. If they tidy that up, they might resemble more of a normal team. But yeah, like I feel like they're sort of coughing it up because they just haven't been doing a lot of that for the last couple of years. So a wait and see on that one. But yeah, the Western Force, yeah, they are looking like they might be a bit of an easy beat team this year as well. I mean, they usually are. Last year they were still pretty strong at home though. But this year, yeah, they seem like they might be pretty beatable even at home as well. And then lastly, we had Crusaders versus the Brumbies. What an incredible result and an incredible game. 24-50, the Brumbies winning in Christchurch for like the first time in 20 years or 25 years, something ridiculous like that. And that's got to be a record margin as well, right? 50-24, although that scoreline probably not reflective of how the game actually went. I mean, this game was a genuine battle, and it was played very positively, right? Like the Crusaders they were attacking from everywhere. They were attacking from inside their own half. It was a strong breeze, which did kind of dictate things like that a bit, but the Brumbies as well, like they were attacking as well. They were trying to move the ball quickly from their rucks, and yeah, I thought this game might actually just be a bit of a forwards arm wrestle, but no, that was not the case. I mean, there were certainly periods where both teams went to work with their forwards. There's a lot of big collisions up front, but no, this game was very open in the end and played quite positively. So that's definitely something to keep in mind going forward for fantasy. Like these teams, they're not just like, you know, forward pack bullies anymore. They want to move the ball, they want to score points, and I mean, we'll have to wait and see with the Crusaders, right? Like after a result like this, maybe they will tighten things up a bit and sort of just lean on trying to dominate with their forwards a bit more rather than, you know, moving the ball a lot and playing that risky game, because that did affect them, right? Like moving the ball in their own half, they'd cough it up, and the Brumbies, they would strike off turnover as well. You know, the Muirhead had a great game. Like, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But all of the games this week, none of them were really tight arm wrestles. They were all kind of good for points. So yeah, that does make things a bit more interesting going forward for fantasy. Now, if we take a look at the top players for each position, looking at the back three, obviously all three of the Hurricanes putting an offer. Harkin, Morby coming in at 106, 103, 79, claiming all of the top spots. I had Harkin, so I'm quite happy with that, but quite surprised that he did this well, considering that Brett Cameron got injured and he had to move to 10. Normally playing in 10, it's not as good as being in the outside backs, and you know, you don't get quite the same sort of line breaks and point scoring opportunity. But no, it worked out for Harkin, so I was very relieved to see that, and kind of surprised that Morby was down here only on 79. He did get 3 tries, and I was quite impressed by his performance, just because he seemed very switched on in terms of getting himself in position to run a good supporting line to get that last pass and get those tries. I mean, he's unlucky not to get another one. Whereas Finianganofo, I mean, yeah, he's more of a more impressive athlete, right? Only got 2 tries, but when he was getting the ball, like he was breaking those tackles, he was stepping, he was getting the line break. So yeah, this is something to think about, like which of the Hurricanes back 3 you want to go for when you're not picking all 3, which you probably don't want to do all the time, because as good as the Hurricanes are for scoring points, like you kind of don't want to put all your eggs in one basket necessarily. And I mean, look, things are probably going to change here now that Brett Cameron is injured. I don't know if Godfrey's going to be back next week, so Harkin, he might be playing more 10. I'm not actually sure. We'll have to wait for the lineups, but yeah, I mean, all 3 of these guys, they all seem quite good. I mean, if it's going to be an easy beat matchup like against Pacifica, I guess you still want to go for Finianganofo, but Morby will probably move to fullback, which will make him, you know, more of a reliable point scorer versus a wing. But yeah, he definitely won't have the same sort of ceiling. So yeah, definitely something to think about, and something I might talk about more in the next best picks video. At 4th place on 76, we had Caleb Tangatau, and yeah, I'm a big fan of Tangatau. He's probably my favorite out of the back 3 for the Highlanders, at least from a fantasy perspective. He didn't do that well last week. He did very well this week, and yeah, he's kind of justifying his price here. His price will probably go back up again. Only got the 1 try, but yeah, like what's this, like 3 line breaks. He was quite impressive, and I think he will continue to be impressive going forward. And again, like this was a tough matchup, a low scoring matchup, but he still did pretty well, even if you take the points for that try out of it. So yeah, I think if you've got cash to spare, this guy is always going to be a very, very solid option for you going forward. Same with Jorgensen as well, to some extent. He got 73 this week. I was pretty confident about Jorgensen in the best picks video. He was probably the one pick I just felt super good about. Like, yeah, he was a lock for me going into this week. He got 73, which you know, I made him my captain. You can't be mad when your captain gets 73, even though he's like 5th in terms of the top outside backs, which, you know, makes it feel not as good. But yeah, like I said, he could have done way better in this game. It's just that the Waratahs, like, they just really struggled to utilize all the opportunities that they had, right? Like, they did not get the ball wide on every opportunity where it was clearly on. Like, yeah, just Crichton was really struggling with that. So yeah, he definitely had potential to do a lot better this week, even though it didn't happen. But yeah, got to be wary going forward against who the Waratahs are matched up against, because they don't look that good right now. And yeah, going into like sterner opposition, yeah, I would not feel that good about picking Jorgo, even though the guy's really good. Even in a tough game, he might just create something out of nothing. But yeah, there's probably gonna be better picks most week, but yeah, definitely a fantastic player, and one we always have to be aware of who he is facing in the week ahead. Muirhead did pretty well this week. Yeah, I kind of faded all the Crusaders and the Brumbies just because I thought there was good potential that it could just be like a low scoring arm wrestle. That was not the case. He did really well. Always tough picking the Brumbies back three because they kind of spread their points around. Generally, when I like picking Brumbies outside backs, I like picking Corey Toole, but you know, sometimes it can be Toole that gets the point, sometimes it can be Muirhead. And he was at fullback. Well, he's been at fullback for both games this year, which yeah, he does get his hands on the ball a bit more. But Will Jordan also doing pretty well, 62, pretty good considering. Yeah, Will Jordan, 2 great results 2 weeks in a row, one of them off the bench. That's why he's got that high price, and yeah, he is kind of worth it. And if the Crusaders keep playing the way that they have been, you know, kind of aggressively moving the ball, yeah, he will remain worth this price, I think. Radamaitavuki Neatkins, 47. Again, like, this doesn't look that good when you look at all these guys above him, but that's still pretty solid for, again, a game that was an arm wrestle. I think it was the lowest scoring game of the week, right? 23-26. So yeah, that's kind of where Radamaitavuki Neatkins live. He gets 50 points even in these tough games, which is good, but there's usually going to be guys above him. So yeah, he's solid, but yeah, it's hard not to be tempted by the potential of other players. Reese getting 46, probably a little bit low by his standards, especially with how the game was played, but this is just how it is with wings sometimes, right? Even in an open game, sometimes the ball doesn't come your way, sometimes it goes to the other wing. It's just how it is. Taumai Falau got 44, which kind of surprised me, to be honest, because yeah, he was kind of invisible that game. And this is kind of what I thought about Taumai Falau last year as well. Like, the guy's clearly an athlete. You get the ball in his hands and he can do some incredible stuff, but he's not the sort of guy that really comes off his wing and comes hunting for the ball. So if he's sort of stuck back there at 14, you know, unless you're kicking the ball straight to him, then yeah, he's probably not going to get a lot of play. So a guy that's got potential, but yeah, not reliable. Then we had Zahn. I did pick Zahn this week, probably a bit more of a out there pick, not a common pick. And yeah, he got 42, which, you know, definitely wanted more, but could have been worse. He did get a try in this game, yeah, so yeah, he's padded out a bit by the try, but yeah, I sort of talked about this earlier. It's just with the Blues, yeah, they're just not looking good when they spread the ball at the moment. So even in a good matchup like this, yeah, probably need to continue fading Blues backs, at least with one exception, but I'll talk about that a bit later. Otherwise, nothing else particularly interesting down here. Leroy Carter only getting 33. Nareki only getting 30. Nanai Satura only 27. Sapsford only 24. So yeah, these are guys like I said with these outside backs. Like, sometimes the ball will just go to the other wing, you know, and they get all the points, and the other one just gets sort of stuck down the list. So Lagana Masi, he was a guy I thought might be kind of solid, but yeah, just had nothing going that game. Same with Draw Sese. Like, yeah, that was a tough game for the Draw. They really just were not into it. They were stabbed the ball, and yeah, that was just kind of brutal to see. So I'm a big fan of Lagana Masi, but yeah, we have to consider maybe only picking him when the Endura are at home, and even then only when it's not going to be like a really tough matchup like against a New Zealand team. But you just never know with the Draw, to be honest. Very, very hard to predict. Now looking at the midfield, Billy Proctor tops it off the bench with 64, and yeah, I mean, this guy, he picked up where he left off last year, just being an absolute fantasy juggernaut. in the midfield, got 1 try, but still this would be a fantastic score. And yeah, I mean, that's why this guy's 11.1 million, man. Like, he really was the best in this midfield slot, and looks like he's going to continue to be. And this is kind of why you want to build your budget up, right? Like, you see there's a lot of guys in the outside backs who are solid, who are like 10 mil. But yeah, it's the guys who are going to be solid in the midfield that you're going to want to have that money for, because there's usually going to be pretty good options in the outside backs that aren't as expensive, but in the midfield you don't have heaps of options like that. So yeah, you're going to want to be able to afford Billy Proctor probably every week. Now this Pritchard guy, he had another good score again, 55. He did get 1 try, so would have been 40 without that, but he got 53 without a try in week 1. So I kind of said last week, like, I don't know a lot about this guy. I want to see him get more good scores before I'm convinced he's like the real deal. And I've been watching him play. He's a bit of an athlete. He's kind of tall and long, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like, two great scores in a row is kind of hard to argue with. You really have to have him on the radar. And yeah, like, I kind of want to see one more decent score out of him before I'm convinced. But yeah, this guy's kind of looking like a solid pick as well. Bailey Kunzel got 49, did get a try, but still pretty good. Remember, Bailey Kunzel, I mentioned him before round 1 because this is a guy who's listed in the midfield but often plays on the wing. This was true last year, and it's been true this year as well. And yeah, like, these midfield guys that play on the wing, they're just much more likely to get a try, and that suddenly makes them really, really good. So yeah, keep this guy on your radar, man. Like, look how cheap he is. He's so cheap. Pritchard's cheap as well, but yeah, if you ever do find yourself kind of short on cash, which doesn't seem like a major problem this year, but it might become a problem later in the year with the variable player pricing, we'll see. But yeah, guy to keep on your radar, especially for, you know, maybe later in the season. Quinn Tupaia, 43. Again, another solid score for Quinn Tupaia, man. Like, he was solid last year, but he's looking like his form's still on this year as well. So yeah, very, very solid, for probably worth his price as well. Not too expensive, but is a little bit. Whanganoko, 43, but I believe he was off the bench. So yeah, he came on, made an impact pretty much straight away. I mean, look at this, like 12 defenders beaten, and probably like, he did come on kind of early. I think it was at 45 or 50 minutes. But yeah, I mean, we know what this guy's capable of. He's always going to be on my list of players that I'm comfortable picking in the midfield. Jordy Barrett, he was another big name that was starting this week, and yeah, as we can see, he delivered 43 points, pretty good haul, even though it's in a pretty forgiving matchup. But kind of pricey, 8.5, but yeah, he's probably gonna be a very strong option going through the whole season, and we kind of saw why as well. I threw a couple of those nice bridge passes, like, he can do those, and when he does them, that could be a line break assist, that can be a try assist, and yeah, that's the sort of thing we want from our midfields. David Havili, 37, 1 try. Yeah, Havili, he's solid, but not exciting. Talking from a fantasy perspective, and yeah, it was kind of the case with him last year as well, and his points kind of reflect that. Tavatawa Nawa, I finally picked him up this week. Only got 32 points, kind of disappointing, to be honest, especially for his price. But yeah, sort of is what it is, right? Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like there might be better options going forward. Just sort of looking at all these guys above him, they're the other guys who are really in the frame, but not a lot else interesting happening in the midfield. For the Fly Halves, Ben Donaldson actually topped out on 59, and Donaldson is usually pretty solid. He did happen to get a try this game, which sort of added him out, but he still would have been, you know, second on the list without that try. So Very good from Donaldson. Perifita came in at second with 50 points. I did pick Perifita, and yeah, I said earlier there's one exception when it comes to picking backs from the Blues, and that exception is Perifita, just because he's going to be taking the shots at goal, right? Look at this, six conversions. And so even though the Blues score their tries through their forwards, forwards don't take the conversion. So, usually the 10 will. That was Perifita, and that really just sort of pushed his score up a bit more, makes him a solid pick. And, the guy, he attacks with ball in hand as well. He got a try. You can see a couple of line break assists. I think he will remain a solid pick going forward. After him, we had Roberto, Pellegrini, both tied on 41, and then nothing else particularly good or interesting down here. Brett Cameron getting a serious injury, unfortunately. I haven't heard the news, but I imagine he's going to be out for some time again. Unfortunately, the guy just can't get a break. Now, with the halfbacks, Hotham came out on top on 36, and it could have been more considering how that game was played, but still, being the top slot, can't complain if you had Hotham. And it was a bit of a two-horse race this week, I felt, as well. I went with Cam Roigard. He was coming off the bench and only got 20. Bit unfortunate, I think, considering how Hurricanes were sort of running all over Moana. There was an opportunity for him to sort of get a piece of that, but didn't happen. But yeah, bit of a shame, unfortunately. Probably going to lose money there. Hotham was probably the next best option, and he delivered, man. 36 points. Can't be disappointed with that. Tied with Jake Gordon. Got to give Gordon credit for that as well. This guy's solid, and playing against the Drua, I guess that was an opportunity for him to go off. And then after that, it's kind of all much of a muchness. We've got 26 points and down. Looking at the loose forwards, Braden Yosse was the big mover, 86 points. And man, I'm so disappointed. I had Peter Lakai. I was tossing up between Yosse and Lakai. I do like Yosse, but I was worried he was going to get subbed off for Brad Shields. But that didn't happen in the end. And he got 2 tries. And that's the reason I like this guy, right? Like, he's good in those open games. You get him running in the open, and he loves it. He'll go crazy. He was so good a couple of years ago. Pretty good last year as well. 86 points. That's a huge haul for a back rower. And Charlie Cale. I've talked up Charlie Cale before this season started about how good a prospect he would be. He did very well last week with that 113 point haul. I actually faded him this week because I was worried about this match being an arm wrestle, but it did not turn out to be the case. And he ran in 2 tries and got 76 points. And a lot of people selected him as well because he did so well last week, right? He delivered again. So he's shaping up to be an absolute beast. And they're taking on the Blues next week as well. So that's going to be another sort of tough grinding forwards battle. And I don't mind picking forwards in those sort of forwards battles, but with Charlie Cale, like, he definitely prefers that sort of open running game, right? So it's going to be a tough pick again next week. I'm kind of inclined to fade him again, but it's going to be pretty frustrating if I end up regretting this again. Anyway, guys, for some reason the interface is bugged out, and it's only showing round points as the points from round 1 rather than round 2. So sort of ignore the scores you see here. But moving on to hooker, Taukiaho, he came out on top again. Huge 83-point haul, 2 tries against the Highlanders, and 2 rounds in a row, he's just smashed it out of the park. And not that surprising, really. This guy, we always knew he was going to be a very strong option, and it looks like he is going to be the front running hooker for fantasy, at least so far. Next guy of note though was Moananu, got 54 points, 2 tries as well, and I'm pretty sure this was coming off the bench, so yeah, not a bad effort in that regard. And I mean, this guy, he was really good for the first half of last year when he got to play for the Crusaders as well, and I was really shocked to see that he ended up overseas. I don't know if that was by choice or if no one in New Zealand wanted him. I hope it's not the latter. That would be pretty disappointing, because this guy was good, man. He's got that sort of low center of gravity. He's great over the ball, and he's great getting over the try line as well. And yeah, one to keep an eye on, but again, he's at the Waratahs, so you know, you don't want to be picking him into a tough matchup necessarily. Other players of note, Jack Taylor, he got 40 again, pretty solid. I went with Bradley Slater this week, thinking that the Blues were going to get over the try line with their forwards against the Force, which they did. But yeah, Bradley Slater was not one of them. Blues didn't really get the maul going that much either. So yeah, a little bit disappointing with that one. Not a lot else interesting happened with the hookers. Almoa was one who was on the radar, again coming back for the Hurricanes, but yeah, only 21 points for him, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm a bit dicey on Almoa, honestly. He wasn't that great last year either, so yeah, we know what he's capable of, but yeah, still waiting to see him rediscover that form. Now with the props, I think the big movers were Slipper, Fusatua, Johnson Holmes, Renata, Tofa'o did pretty well as well, but yeah, Slipper got 39, he got a try, Fusatua got a try as well, that's why he's on 38. And yeah, I did point out these Blues props, both Fusatua and Renata, in the best picks video. Renata still got 32 points even though he didn't get a try, so yeah, those two guys, just the way the Blues play, they're quite often the guys who can get over the try line when the Blues are knocking on the door. Johnson Holmes, he got a try as well. Not much else interesting happened in this category. Tofa'o got 31 points, which is another, you know, pretty good follow-up on him. I had him picked as well as Numia. Numia did not do well at all. De Groot not getting much going this week either as well. In the locking department, the big mover was Warner Durns with 59 points, and yeah, I'd heard a bit of chatter about this guy. He's the big man from Japan, and yeah, he really delivered this game. Score wasn't even padded out by a try, so he's definitely one to keep on the radar going forward. Tupavai not doing as well this week, only 22 points, but yeah, like I was saying, guys, you can't take it for granted that a lock is going to get 50 points every week. That's true of Tupou, no matter how good he is. Same with Warner Durns as well. Not a lot else interesting happened here. Josh Berry did pretty well, 42 points, and yeah, again, he's another one I mentioned in best picks. Just the same as with the props with the Blues, right? Like yeah, the Blues type 5, they do a lot of the scoring work for them, so just picking them, you know, it might be their week that they get a try, and they'll be really strong for that category. Otherwise, nothing else particularly interesting happening in the lock section. Anyway, guys, that'll do it from me for the recap for round 2. Overall, I think we did earn quite a bit this round. Obviously, with the Hurricanes coming into the picture, we know that they are going to be a force in fantasy going forward. And yeah, I think the picture sort of solidified a bit around, you know, how weak the weak teams really are, and how the stronger teams, how they're playing, and how well they're able to score points for us in fantasy. We're also getting a bit of picture about some of the players that are really strong in each category as well. At least that's how I feel. I feel like I got a good picture going forward. So looking forward to next week. Let me know how you guys went for this round, which picks you had that went well for you and which ones didn't. And I'll catch you at the end of the week for the round 3 best picks. Have a good week. I'll see you then.